And we are live. Give us about 1 minute to allow folks to join the live chat. And we'll be back with the normal space weather.
A crack YouTube unit was sent to social media prison by an algorithm for the crime they didn't commit. These producers promptly escaped from maximum security social media stockade to the internet underground. Today, still wanted by social media, they survive as producers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you could find them, maybe you could hire the Smash team.
We're looking at the sun in intensity-gram mode here. And we see sunspot 2740 has decayed a little bit, reducing its chance of solar flares a little bit. And we see sunspot 2741 trailing it there. And we'll look a little closer at the colored magnetogram. There's a magnetic environment. Eyes on this area here. That's a cycle 24 polarity plage. Not yet a sunspot, but something to keep an eye on. And when I say eye on, the pun is intentional. Both of these sunspots are now alpha class. As, again, 2740 has degraded in complexity. And there's really only one field associated with 2741, so nothing too exciting there. Let's look at one more view. How about 193 angstroms? And let's move on to some more data. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware, but I make some custom memes. And we strive on this channel to cause our viewers to understand the distinction depicted before you. Know the difference between your ass and a hole in the ground. Here's some more words of wisdom via my original memes. Holding a grudge is like ingesting poison and expecting the other person to die. Let's talk bikes. If you don't have one, well, why not? Head to veloshop.net. That is theveloshop.net. And get yourself a bike. I mean, if you're a prepper, you need to have a bike in your prepping stuff. So maybe your kid needs a 20-inch. Who knows? They've got those. How about a Scott Scale Junior 20? I don't know what that is, but it's not loading. Oh, check it out. That's pretty sweet, actually. And I don't know how we got to that, so let's just move on. Check it out. 20-inch Scott Scale Junior. Nice. I'd ride that. It even has a suspension fork. Wow. Get them started right. Anyway, please visit the links in the description here. Help support the channel, as we haven't even made it to 1,400 subscribers yet, and Nancy Pelosi likes it. So why don't you set up a nextdoor.com account to help network your neighborhood together? Yes, they'll send out paper postcards. Network your neighborhood. Increase everybody's convenience factor. Nextdoor.com. We are not paid to say that. I'm just doing it as a public service. Again, visit the links in the description. If you'd like to sponsor me as a cyclist, there's a GoFundMe. Also, if you want to sponsor the entire team, and that is theveloshop.net. We have people on the Olympic long team here who may go to the Olympics in 2020. So if you want your corporate logo on the jerseys, you have a unique opportunity to get it there. We even have a current world champion jersey wearer. That's Kim Geist, and that's in the team sprint. Actually, the team pursuit. That's a time trial event, and there's some expensive ad space for sale currently on our team jerseys. If you're interested, please just email me at smashomash@gmail.com. Links in the description. Also, support us via PayPal if you like. We only need another $435 before summer starts to get the cycling season kicked off the correct way. There are licenses, bikes to buy, and a lot of other stuff. Regarding the channel, thank you, patrons, on Patreon. So please become our 4th patron. Help to support us with monthly contributions, as every little bit counts, and we are at the ground level of our production, which is increasing regularly. Let's move on to more stuff here, as there's a lot of stuff to cover. smAshomash.com and smAshomash.org are things. Check those out for the links. They are under construction. Let me just give you an idea of the mission. If you're a new viewer, the mission is to assist, study, and report on the ongoing formation of a unified theory of physics, to raise the awareness of the general public of the relationship between space, weather, and Earth effects, to connect and consult with media organizations to multiply our reach, to demonstrate cutting-edge proof of concept solutions to problems, to publish scientific papers in a multidisciplinary manner, including but not limited to sciences such as spectroscopy, chemistry, astrophysics, health, wellness, longevity, cosmology, biology, magnetohydrodynamics, geology, etc., to assist mankind by advancing the study of predictive phenomenon in order to optimize value and reduce risk and liability and save lives and resources and adapt no matter what the adversity is. And lastly, to not be ossified in our beliefs and to treat those who are with love, respect, and inclusion to the scientific discussion. And let's look at the real-time solar wind here. On this pre-dawn morning of May 8th. Welcome to the live stream, all you viewers out there. And if you're watching it later, welcome to watching it later. Please like and subscribe. Help us to reach 1,400 subscribers. I can't believe I'm even citing that as a milestone. When we got to 100, that was unexpected. When we got to 1,000, that was even less expected. So, no expectations here, except we do expect this page to load one of these centuries. Please load the data. And we still have not upgraded our internet service, folks, because there are some crooked salespeople on our end. So, solar wind density has come up to 9.25, so an increase there. Solar wind speed still pretty low at 327 kilometers per second. And I'm going to have to hit refresh here. I'm really only here to cite the 10.7 centimeter radial flux, which is now up to 79. So cycle 24 rolls on. We are way up here now, folks, well above the predicted values. That's a good thing, because solar minima are bad. Solar maximum are good. We won't get into the weeds on that yet. Let's go to spaceweathernews.com and look at some more data there. And I'm going to just hit refresh here just to make sure that we're not looking at old data. The dangers of a live stream, folks, the dangers of a live stream. Do you feel the pressure? I certainly do. And we're coming off an X-ray flare just in the past couple hours. If this thing stops scrolling, I can click on it for you to show you more data. So there we had some more C-class flaring going on yesterday. But basically a downturn there in the solar activity as that sunspot 2740 degrades. Let's look at the rest of the data here. Today I only have 72 tabs open, so maybe we won't run out of memory. Here's the magnetometer looking pretty smooth here, although a recent disparity where the lines cross at local midnight satellite time. KP is down to 0. So that's a cosmic ray alert there, folks. KP at 0. Magnetosphere looking weak despite a fairly high proton density. Here's the electron flux. We would not be surprised to see a dip in this, especially considering the proton density there of the solar wind. Please let me scroll. Gee, thanks. We see no charging hazards. And the F2, I swear to God, I did not click on that. And let's just let this load yet again. If the page would stop scrolling on its own, we would greatly appreciate it. And I still can't click on things. Let's try a 4th time. The F2 layer is looking pretty discharged, both on the sun side and on the night side, but especially on the sun side. This is really discharged here. So that's something to keep an eye on throughout the day. And again, when I say ion, the pun is intentional. Let's bring out the chat before I start raging about various things that are pissing me off. No rage quits here, folks. No rage quits here. We save that for the video gaming. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Spray and Play XX. Jeez, check it out. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks, smAsho staff and Spray and Play XX and Kahlo Jan and Saturn's Raindrops and Lucy Fur and Eden My Take, and I don't think I missed anybody. So thanks for chatting, everybody. Yeah, we're not going to promote other music because all the music on this channel is original. So, yeah, go ahead with that. We'll pass. Coronal mass ejection. There's one headed toward the Earth right now. The title was not clickbait. We're going to cover it. Oh, Waco has powerful shamans moving storms around it. Okay. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, so show us any evidence, preferably extraordinary. I think Australia will fare bad in an extended solar minimum, a little worse than the Northern Hemisphere. The extremes are more extreme in the Southern Hemisphere. That is, their summers and their winters are a little bit more extreme in the Southern Hemisphere. Probably part of the reason why Antarctica is colder than the North Pole. Let's move on. Charging hazards are pretty much non-existent, and the auroras are looking a little weak. Nothing to write home about. Let's get some more data before this stream becomes too long and we become old and gray. Let's look at the end little spirals here, as there was a coronal mass ejection facing the Earth. And again, we are going to cover it in a minute. We're going to actually look at it directly from stereo A. So there is a component there, as you can see. It's very oddly shaped. Most of it is expected to miss the Earth to the east. And according to this prediction here, that is expected to arrive midday on the 11th and to subside around midnight on the 11th, between the 11th and 12th. So it's showing up as a pretty minor pulse here, but we're going to look at some better data, as that's just a model. Let's just ignore that for now. We're going to come back to it in a minute. We'll skip the electron content, and we're going to go to the gong 2, as the magnetic environment is kind of important. Here's the magnetic environment. This data 1 hour, 15 minutes old. And we see big undulations there in the North Polar Field, depicted in green. And that is associated with that sunspot activity. So we're going to see some spikes in the magnetometer here, some sudden perturbations, as this heliospheric current sheet crossing is about to occur. So when the Earth snaps across those lines, which it is what it's about to do any minute, it could already be happening now. Keep an eye on the GOES magnetometer if you're interested in when this happens. Let's head to solar ham. We'll look at the LASCO C2 and the LASCO C3. Here's the C2. We're going to see a partial halo coronal mass ejection here, and a halo indicates that it's headed right for you. This SOHO instrument located between the Earth and Sun. Here's yesterday. So that occurred late on the 6th, I believe, but we'll get a better view of it from stereo A Core 2 space weather beacon. So stay tuned. We will rock it back and forth and give you some clue. Let's look at the C3 here also to give us a little more zoomed out view of the same thing. And we do see a partial halo there. So wait until late on the 6th. And here we're going into the 6th now. That's the Earth-facing coronal mass ejection there. And again, most of it is expected to miss the Earth to the east and the north. Let's look at solar ham's breakdown of sunspot 2740. Okay, it's still considered beta class. And that is because of this little umbra right here. That's just enough. See that blue field there? That's just enough to count as a sunspot. And this is degrading here. It's developing this teardrop shape to it. So best guess is that's going to continue to degrade throughout the day. Let's look at 2741 also. Here's 2741. And this is only alpha class. There's only one main field umbra, as you can see in the colored magnetogram. So pretty much a downtick there in the sunspot activity, but we do see an uptick in the 10.7 centimeter radio flex again to 79. So well above predicted values. And for that, we thank you. Now let's go to stereo A, the coronagraph way out there in space, 4 months behind the Earth in terms of orbit, and a few days ahead of the Earth in terms of space weather. So let's get the latest data here. All right. And there you can see that coronal mass ejection. It is oriented a bit to the north. And it is, most of it is going to go in between stereo A and the Earth. We did cover this yesterday morning, but it wasn't done ejecting yet. Now, all of that plasma didn't come out. As you can see here, some of that plasma went back into the sun right there, snaps back in, and a lot of it is off the interplanetary magnetic field line also. And for you new viewers, the interplanetary magnetic field line is located on the solar equator, about like this. That is the sun's B field. The sun's B field. Not to be confused with the sun's Z fields, which I'm drawing in now. These are the spirals, the spiral jets that come out of all stellar bodies, from galactic cores to the Earth's poles, to the sun's poles, Z fields and B fields. If you don't know what they are, I suggest you read up on it, because it's kind of important these days in astronomy, as astrophysics gets rewritten before your very eyes. Here's the stars from yesterday, and let's refresh it so it's from today. Cygnus, as part of the summer triangle, will remain up in the sky for the northern hemisphere for the entire summer. Now, I like to draw in the ecliptic, and if you're up before dawn, go have a look. If you got clear skies, you should be able to see Jupiter and Saturn to its right. Or if you're in the southern hemisphere, to its left. Now, here's a location of your planets. Let's refresh as we're looking at yesterday. And I would note the view we were looking at, stereo A is located about here, stereo B is located about here, giving us views of the opposite side of the sun. So Mercury is currently in about a perfect alignment there with Venus as it rushes past. And here's where things shall be located in 1 week. Earth catching up to Venus and to Jupiter and Saturn as the full moon approaches. And let's look at even more stuff, as there's quite a bit of stuff to cover. We even have some articles that I didn't open tabs for yet. You're going to have to watch me type, folks. Here are the magnetosphere movies. We play these every day. First, the velocity. This is our data archiving service section. And we do this because this data is not accessible from the University of Michigan. So we put 4 hours of it up every day in our videos. Now we have captured coronal mass ejection hits, coronal hole wind stream hits, velocity changes, and the like. And if you're interested in what happened on a given day, just view our space weather video from that day, and we will have at least 4 hours of this in practically every video that we produce. So here's the density, and we see this density reflected in the higher density solar wind. I would note that high density is navy blue and low density is white. So don't confuse that, folks. We're talking about proton density here. Magnetohydrodynamics. Whoopsies. And lastly, here's the pressure. And we see more pressure. The Earth is currently taking charge as there is greater pressure in the bow shock than on the magnetotail. So something to understand here is that field-aligned currents from the solar wind split, and they enter the planet at the poles like this via Birkeland currents. That's what causes the aurora borealis. And we have charge going both ways. So in order to have charge going one way, it's got to be going the other way too in a Birkeland current. You've got nested spirals, one going this way and one going this way. And that's how a Birkeland current works. If you're not familiar, please read up on Birkeland currents. Do a web search. Learn what Hall currents are as they control the Earth's weather. Let's look at the ground magnetic perturbations here. Birkeland currents and Hall currents, folks. Kind of important. We don't see very many perturbations here, as expected. But we're going to let it play through anyway. Anyway, there's a view from the poles where your field-aligned Birkeland currents arrive. And here's a view from the globe. For you new viewers out there, please be aware that we have a North Pole up here, and we have a North Pole over here. And the South Pole is migrating toward Western Australia into the Indian Ocean. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. To quote Kurt Angle, it's true. It's true. Let's look at cosmic rays as we skipped it yesterday. Here's a Apatity and Barentsburg. Small uptick there, probably associated with a KP0. So there's Barentsburg. Again, there's Apatity. Next, we'll go to Athens. We saw a spike 2 days ago. Let's see what we've got now, if anything. And it looks like Athens' site is down. Let's move on to Mexico City. There's the cosmic rays at Mexico City. Here's Moscow. Serious downturn in Moscow. And since high cosmic ray flux is associated with solar minimum, for that we thank you. I prefer lower cosmic ray flux. How about you? Please leave a comment. Please press that like button. And don't forget to share the videos, folks, as we are As shadow banned as you get. How we can't reach 1,400 subscribers is beyond me. Here's the Oulu neutron monitor here, located in Oulu, Finland. Here's DOMC Antarctica. And here's DOMB Antarctica. We've got links to the Cosmic Ray site, to this site here, links in the description if you want to monitor it yourself. Don't take our word for it. Do your own research. Next, I'd invite you to check out Galaxy Zoo at Zooniverse.org. Zooniverse.org, the largest citizen science project in the world. Here's the Galaxy Zoo project. We need humans to classify galaxies, so stop by, give yourself a login, maybe get published in an astronomical paper. We've actually documented this actually occurring on this channel. There was a, I believe it was a phys.org article about somebody discovering a crazy galaxy. So get in there, get involved, take a towel, wet it, throw it up in the air. When it comes down, brown, wash the towel, brown goes into the ocean. A couple of years, get some nets or something, get all the brown from the ocean back into the air and recycle pollution. There's no sign of a spiral arm pattern. Is there a central bulge? Oh my gosh, the computer's low on memory. Son of a beehive. Oh no, you didn't hit like? Please hit like, the algorithms have changed. All right, Mr. Keebler. Yeah, we'll go check out your videos. Anyway, we've got a moderate bulge here, and we're not talking about cycling shorts. Is the galaxy merging or disturbed? Let's say major disturbance. In fact, I'm going to say merging, because that's a major disturbance there. We're going to say lens or arc, irregular, dust lane, overlap, and something else. Check it out, Zooniverse.org. We got another funky one. Let's save the image for posterity. All right. Will you be the citizen scientist to identify this galaxy, which looks quite a bit like a quasar? Please do. We're going to play more music in a minute. But first, let's talk about social media. Facebook. Hey, Mark. How's it going, Mark? Dear Mark, Facebook needs some better software writers. We like to offer constructive criticism. Let's play some more music here while I bloviate about Facebook. Now, Facebook has a tendency to deplatform people and act in a tyrannical fashion. And that causes me to be a little critical of certain stuff, such as their algorithms, of which I am not a fan. If anybody ever wants any custom memes, again, send me an email. I'll hook you up. These are all original. I've been doing it for years. I've been getting in trouble on social media since before social media existed. Also, check us out on Twitter. While I don't tweet, you can share the videos there with your tweeting friends. Also, check us out on Instagram. Here's some of yesterday's shenanigans while I was out riding a full-time trial disc bike.
Because it's black magic.
It's black magic, folks.
There's no classified technology in the creation of this video. I think it's about that time. And there's another classic Tuesday ride in the books. Shout out cyclists. Well, now that I confirmed that she's roadworthy, it's about time for the makeover. Yeah. Yo. It's black magic.
It's black magic, folks. So follow me on Instagram. Not so much space weather stuff on there, more a little bit behind the scenes. Also, check us out on minds.com/smAsho, the social media site that will not censor you, will not deplatform or ban you unless you do something really stupid like put up kiddie porn. So please don't. Also, check us out on SoundCloud. If you like the music, some of the older stuff is located there, as well as some of the tracks you heard during this video by Dr. Sam Afif, also known as Arabian, the Arabian Nightmare. Also, check us out on soundclick.com/goldencapproductions. A bunch of music there. For instance, Conclusivity can be purchased for the low, low price of 99 cents USD. That stands for US dollars. Let's look at earthquakes, as I have no idea what's going on seismically, as I stuck my head in the ground like an ostrich. Here's Bolivia with a 4.4 magnitude at depth. Heads up Bolivia for a larger quake at the surface. Shout out Bolivia. If we got Bolivian viewers, please leave a comment. Maybe we're not shadow banned in your country, but we probably are. Here's a 4.8 in Japan. Here's a 4.9 in New Zealand. Shout out if you heard that one, New Zealand viewers. I know we've got a couple. Here's a 4.7 south of Kamchatka, however you pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce it. How about off the coast of northern Sumatra with a 4.4? Looks like an earthquake downtick, folks. 4.6 at Japan. Nothing to get your panties in a bunch there. 4.6 at the Philippines, which is a minor quake, as there's been a swarm. There's been a swarm in the Philippines. And here's another 4.7 and a 4.7 in Tonga. That's officially a seismic downtick, folks. Let's move on to pressure maps via windy.com. We see a series of anticyclones around the U.S. Here's a clockwise rotation. Here's a clockwise rotation. Here's a thing that's totally in the way. And we see a persistent low over the central U.S. as Texas and the south central portion of the country getting hammered every day. We see a strong low north of Japan. And this persistent low right here, it's been there for days and it continues to sit there for days. And let's move on before windy.com does something dumb. By the way, windy.com has an amazing mobile app that could save your mobile ass. So check out windy.com, download their free mobile app. You'll be able to follow things like sulfur dioxide. And speaking of sulfur dioxide, here's your volcano rundown. Karimsky back on the list, producing an 8,000-foot plume. Shivaluch producing a 13,000-foot plume. 7,000-foot plume at Tocono. Revenador in Ecuador with explosive activity. Check it out, 16,000-foot plume there. We don't recommend flying over Sabancaya in your homemade helicopter, as it's producing a 24,000-foot ash plume. Check out Planchon Peteroa, continuous emissions, and Nevados de Chilean, no emissions, but it's on the list anyway. We don't know why. We don't care. We're moving on to more stuff, as there's still plenty of things to cover, such as more vicious storms in the south central U.S. South Central has put the U.S. to the test as my computer tries to crash. And there we go. It's official. It's crashed. Oh my gosh, the whole operation is just monkey wrenched. We are lurching to a halt. We're going to close that down. going on? Are we back? I have no idea. No idea. All right, we are completely seized up, folks, and our time is being wasted. Yeah. Time is being wasted, and so is yours, thanks to software that barely works. We apologize for the technical difficulties, and I would gladly take blame for anything that's my fault. Can anybody let us know? All right, we're going to open the pop-out chat again. I don't know if this is working or not, and I frankly don't care, and I'm not going to redo it. So, que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. I don't know where I left off. Could somebody please tell me the last tab? Tell me the last tab. Here's the crazy storms over Texas, folks. I guess we're back. And there you go. I don't know what happened. We're not leaving timestamps in the description because there's a lot of work to do and various other things to accomplish today. So there's a situation over Texas. You dudes are getting hammered again. Let's go back to lightningmaps.org to show you where the fan is being hit by the you-know-what. And there's a massive, massive line oriented something like this. And you're going to see Hall currents coming out of this convergence line all day. So let's go back to the zoom in here. As Dallas, most of that's going to miss you, Dallas. But shout out to Abilene, San Angelo, Tulsa, Wichita Falls, Duncan, Shawnee. You already hear the thunder. So Tulsa, it's on the way, Tulsa. Get ready. I see a lightning strike just happened there. If you're not familiar with lightningmaps.org, get yourself. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. Let's move on before we're old and gray. Let's do one more zoom here on the water vapor map as we see one hell of a convergence zone over Kansas there. Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa, heads up Iowa. You're going to get hit. And Nebraska. It's on the way, folks. There's what's going on in the upper atmosphere. Let's animate this full image to give folks an idea of things like jet stream location. We're not going to get too in-depth into it because we're trying to make it through the live stream before this thing crashes like a Chinese satellite or like an Indian satellite, better yet. Don't shoot down satellites, India. Don't do it. It's so stupid. Here is your weather.gov, just to give you an idea of where the watches and warnings are, and they are all over the place. We got a hard freeze warning in Michigan. We got winter weather advisories all over the Central Rockies, and all kinds of warnings over the central U.S. due to this constant everyday pummeling of heavy thunderstorms and flooding rains. Let us know if your crop planting is delayed. Ours was. In fact, we have a dogwood tree that usually blooms in March, and it's still blooming now, well into May. Global warming update. Greenland's still frozen. So if anybody's telling you about Greenland melting, please go to windy.com and break out the snow depth, a new feature, and please show them that there is more than 5 meters of snow in central Greenland? Next, I would say to you, de oppresso liber, which translates to from the oppressed, the free. Speaking of the oppressed, let's talk about China. Yeah, China. China, Big Brother social control arrives in Australia. So if you've heard about China's insane Chinese Communist Party social credit system, well, you might know all about this. Guess what? Australia has voluntarily instituted their smart city technology. Yeah, that's right. You think I'm kidding? In Darwin, Australia, they've already constructed poles fitted with speakers, cameras, and Wi-Fi, according to NT News, to monitor people, their movements around the city, the websites they visit, and what apps they use. The monitoring will be done mainly by artificial intelligence, but will alert authorities based on set triggers. That's right. You go to Darwin, you're going to have a digital fence around you. And if you cross the digital fence, alerts will be issued. Yes, that's right. In the past, there was the Nazi totalitarianism and Mao Zedong's totalitarian system, but a totalitarian system powered by the internet and contemporary technology has not existed before, Teng said in a recent interview with the Epoch Times. The CCP, that's the Chinese Communist Party, is now taking the first step to build such a high-tech totalitarian system by using credit ratings and monitor and recording every detail in people's daily life, which is very frightening. If you're not aware of China's social credit system, millions of people have already been denied using transportation services such as buses and planes due to their social credit score. Does that sound like a dystopian nightmare to you? Well, it's a real thing in China. Let's go to a phys.org article. How about a little bit lead? How about a little bit of lead in baby teeth? How about that? Lead contamination found in baby teeth of children living near Exide battery plant. The USC actually did a study of the layers in baby teeth, and they found an inordinate amount of lead, probably exposing as many as 250,000 residents. Yeah, so there's an article for which we will not leave links in the description. You can find it just by going to phys.org and clicking on the Earth section. Now here's another interesting article here about brain ventricles. Now, I wasn't familiar with brain ventricles until I read the article, even though I've studied the brain very, very in depth. But it turns out long space flights lead to changes in brain ventricle size. Now, your cerebral spinal fluid, it circulates through your brain via these brain ventricles, and 0G causes your brain ventricles to grow in size. Is it a danger? Is it a benefit? We're not sure yet. We're still trying to figure out if they shrink again afterwards. Anyway, another interesting article at phys.org. And we are out of stuff to cover, so we're going to head back to the chat here after we bring up another view of the sun. And we're looking at the past 10 hours of solar activity and 171 angstroms. My favorite view. And I just clicked on the wrong thing again, which I do on a regular basis. And here's the 171 angstroms view. And again, I would say to you, de oppresso liber. Be an entropy buster. Be a Minuteman. Do your research. Know how the stuff works. Share the videos on social media. I am not a global warming kind of guy because carbon dioxide has nothing to do with the Earth's climate. Carbon dioxide is an effect of the temperatures. The temperatures are not an effect of the carbon dioxide. Anyway, there's a sun in 171 angstroms. We got a lot of stuff to keep an eye on throughout the day, and we're going to be hit with a lot of ions throughout the day. We'll be looking for X-ray flares coming out, although the propensity for 2740 to do so is dropping, as its magnetic complexity is dropping also. It may get classified as an alpha class throughout the day. We have to watch that umbra that is north of the main umbra. If that makes sense, we thank you. And if not, well, keep watching the videos every day. You'll eventually understand it through osmosis. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks especially donors. Your contributions are making a huge difference in the operation. Thanks subscribers. Please don't forget to like and share the videos if you enjoy the content. So in closing, I would recommend that you stare at the sun. Take steps to understand how it works, what it's made out of, liquid metallic hydrogen, and so on, as astrophysics is in the process of being rewritten. So thanks again for tuning in. May the solar wind be at your back and the atherosclerosis absent from your veins.